well do you really know your podcast hosts?
You listen to them every day, but have you ever wondered what goes on behind their microphones? There's a killer on the loose somewhere.
Hold on, guys. Do you really think we should start off that way? It's kind of presumptuous. I mean, how do we know if they listen to us every day?
Hey, I'm just reading what's in the script, okay?
Those are some good lines. All right, they're badly delivered, but they're good lines.
I think we should just hit them with the charm.
Okay, good. Excellent. I'll take the lead on this.
Excuse me, Jade. Why you?
Well, I'm an actor. Duh, I can turn on the charm.
Is it on now?
It's warming up.
Speaking of warm, it's so hot in here. Do we have to do this in a closet?
Yes, the acoustics are better. And trust me, okay, you guys need acoustics. All right, so I want you to take it again and really hit the word killer. Just killer.
There's a killer on the loose somewhere.
No need to scream. Okay, all right, you know what I need you to do? I need you to really punch somewhere.
Give me action.
And action.
Killer on the loose somewhere.
Guys.
All right, okay, do it again, but slower.
Okay.
Guys.
On the loose.
Guys.
What?
Look at this.
Oh, well, one thing's for sure.
Yeah. This sends our podcast
in a whole new direction. Okay, so moving on. Episode 6, Performance Review. Directed by Cherian Davis or Davis again. Written by Ben Smith and Joshua Allen Griffith. Cinda is interviewing Mabel's ex, Long John Silver's coworker, Jimmy Russo. And he claims that Mabel abused him and cut off his fingers and deep fried them. And then Mabel and Alice are eating together. They're she's taking photos of Mabel's apartment and they're kind of getting to know each other. And Mabel talks a little bit about her dad. And Jan is dating Charles in prison, just still in love with him. And Oliver is very nervous getting his paternity test. Mm. Then we see Saz comes to the Brazos set to do some stunting. And Oliver comes to show this footage from the pickle diner of the mysterious person who had lunch with Bunny. And we see Joy, the makeup artist, flirting with Charles. And they are thinking that they're texting with Detective Williams for help with figuring out the fingerprints on the matchbook. But it turns out Detective Williams is in Denver. And now they think they're texting with the murderer, so they freak out. And then Krebs calls everyone over to Bunny's apartment and basically just scolds them, no more podcasting. He says to Cinda and Poppy and the Omit B crew. And then Cinda ends up pulling out a threat of her own. She threatens Mabel and Krebs, alluding to his bad reputation. And she says to Mabel, I interviewed this guy, Jimmy Russo, and we got dirt on you. And then Mabel and Poppy have a private talk about Jimmy Russo. She's like, no, he's full of shit. You can help Cinda out by not sharing this interview. And she encourages Poppy to stand up to Cinda and act like a producer, be your own person, man. And then Poppy takes her advice and she asks Cinda for a performance review and maybe a promotion, which Cinda later refuses. Then the trio decides to build a glitter bomb to trap this mysterious person that they're texting with. And they wait in the park in the car and they shame Charles for secretly dating Dan. Meanwhile, Glitter Guy is running off with glitter, he's got the glitter bomb went off all
glittered,
over him.
yeah.
And he's got some fake evidence. And Charles then sends Saz to break up with Jan for him. And at the end, Mabel walks in on Alice, who is staging Bunny's death as she's playing Mabel. She's recreated this whole thing in her apartment. She's recreated Mabel's apartment. And Poppy calls Mabel to tell her that Cinda is a liar and she'll basically do anything for a good podcast. And she offers her help, because she says she knows where a lot of bodies are buried. And then at the very end, Will sends Oliver a video of Mabel stabbing stabbing glitter guy on the subway. Ah,
Yeah. That was violent. I'm like, ugh.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. So I think this is the episode where they really were throwing more of like nuggets to say like it's Poppy. Like I noticed Poppy was sitting under like the Becky Butler posters. Like we're like really trying to kind of like, look guys, look, it's right in front of you.
I know.
You can see. And I can't remember if I noticed that the first watch, but after the second watch, you're like, oh, okay, I see what you guys were doing there. And I thought that was kind of cool.
I remember this episode, I was very, very sure that it was Poppy. I was like 100%. From here on out, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, it's definitely her.
Yeah, because she was very prominent. And
well, the moment I remember thinking it's her is when she offers help. She offers to help. And I'm like,
And also, like, I think it also, when you go into, was this the episode where, yeah, it is, when they go into the, where Krebs and Cinda and Poppy were there, when you first see them, Krebs is smiling and talking to them. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, and then he starts threatening them.
Yeah.
And they have it. And I'm like, it was so, like, fake. Like, you know, and I love Tina Fey. I think she's playing an asshole really well.
oh yeah.
But it felt, like, so purposely fake as she was delivering the lines to him. So yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, no shit. It was one of them or both of them that were involved in this.
Yeah, it's never really clear to me if Cinda was aware that Krebs was helping Poppy at all. I don't think she was, because Cinda didn't know about Poppy being Becky Butler until they Mabel told
The reveal.
Yeah, until they all told her. Yeah. So
but
yeah,
she was working, but she knew Krebs was working for her. So they
no, that's what I'm saying. How did she know that? What was Krebs doing to work for her?
So, and you see that when, what was it, episode 9, when you see Krebs looking at, you know, when he was in the chicken joint and he sees somebody and he's like smiling at them, and you see Cinda, but if you look to the right, there's Poppy looking and smiling at him.
Right.
So he was working for Cinda, but he was having a relationship with Poppy. So
working for Cinda, like how? Because it's never said.
She's the one who planted the evidence. He's the one who planted the evidence for Becky Butler. He went in and stole the Becky Butler.
No, I know, but no. See, this is where it's unclear, because I was thinking the same. I didn't realize this until I watched this for the third time. No, Cinda did not know that Krebs and Poppy were doing. No,
right. I figured
she didn't know she was Becky Butler.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I think he was the one.
I don't think so.
Really?
They were completely
wait.
in the dark. Cinda was, she was with Poppy doing her investigating in Oklahoma, but she had no idea that Poppy and
he was the lonely
working.
Cop that was talking to her. That's what it was. She interviewed.
See, it does get unclear though. It does.
Yeah. No, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah,
now I remember that. Thank you. I think.
It's not the most important thing, and it's kind of, you just have to like be paying close attention. It's not like it's unclear. It's just a little glossed over how much.
I just feel
Cinda
like the
knows.
way they were talking to each other, they felt like they were in cahoots.
Well, that's what they want you to think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it didn't seem so like it was towards Poppy. It felt like it was more between Cinda and Krebs, but that's okay.
So you fell for it, Erica. That's exactly what they want you to do.
I fell for it.
See, I read too many fucking mysteries where I was just like, no, I can see, I can always see what they want me to think. And then I always go opposite, like go the other way when you see what they're trying to, because that's how you solve every Agatha Christie. What does she want you to think? And then look at something else. Unless Agatha Christie does her thing where this is what she wants you to think. And then you go, okay, so I'm not going to think that. And then she goes, no, but it's exactly that. I think you should have, You're
like, come on
she
now.
Does it. Yeah, she does it sometimes. Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot about Poppy in this, but just to go back to talking about Charles Ambrosius, like the fact that Andrea Martin is back, and I love her so much, and that's where she comes in, and you can see she calls Charles Charlie, so she obviously had a crush on him.
I thought it was very strange, and it always distracts me. It's like, oh, why, what? When Joy puts makeup on Charles after Ade says, that's a wrap for you, Charles. And then Joy comes up and she like powders his face. I'm like, but he's wrapped.
She just wants to touch
I know.
him.
I know. It just always like sticks out to me.
You are right. You are correct. That's so funny. Okay.
Yeah, Joy's kind of weird in my opinion. It's like Charles definitely has a type because when she was like, it won't get you stoned, but I'll get you a little stoned, you know, and she's like, we did it once, but those were different times. It's like so weird. You're weird, Joy. Like, you know, Charles likes weird.
He does.
It's like
weird.
From Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Remember when who was it? Dr. Ben was getting set up, setting up with Midge. Remember the mothers were trying to set them up together, and Rose just goes, weird. I have a weird girl for you. My daughter's weird. You like them weird?
Well, Charles likes them weird.
Yeah, Charles likes them weird.
Oh goodness! And then I love that Saz is back. She's just
before we move on too much, I forgot my most marvelous moment. So speaking of the weird ones that we love, right? I was gonna say I love, you know, Andrea Martin. I love Joy. I don't love Joy yet, but she's fine. You know, I'm excited to see her more. But I just really do want Charles and Jan to be together. Like, I just love them together in like a way that
chemistry is so good.
I probably shouldn't love it as much as I do, but I do. So this is my most marvelous moment. Here you go.
No, you're uneasy.
It's just, should we be doing this? We are broken up after all.
What? We never broke up.
Well, I guess I just assumed.
Why? Because I tried to kill you? How many times are you going to make me apologize for that? You're all I have, Charles. Are you really going to leave me in here all locked up and not in a sexy way? I still love you. Is that crazy?
It's a little crazy.
Oh.
But
We tell ourselves.
Oh my God. Oh my God. The way Steve Martin looks when he's like twirling the little phone cord and God, Amy Ryan's acting. Like, give her an Emmy for this moment. Just for this fucking moment, y'all. She's such a fucking good actor. Oh my God. Like,
bravo.
She truly blows me away. The way that she's so not adept. She can facilitate her emotions like water. She could just go the way she just turns on a dime, and she's like, "Are you gonna just, you know, how many times you're gonna make me apologize for that? And you're gonna leave me not in the sexy way, you know?" And she's like got this grit to her, and then all of a sudden she's like, "I still love you." Is that crazy? Like, and she just fully commits in these every moment she's changing. It's just. Truly, you guys, she makes it look so easy, and just I know that it's not easy to act this way. Like to,
and I think it validates why Charles can't get away from her, because
she's captivating, magnetic.
Yes.
I would be just
Jannibal Lecter.
Oh my gosh, I would be dropping my panties for Jan. Yeah, like I would be a sucker. Yeah. I would be useless, powerless under her, or weakened under her power. Yeah. Truly, like defenseless. Yeah, Jan's amazing.
Look at Saz. Saz was like right there. I'll keep going. I'll continue.
Yes, I know. Oh my God, so good. Such a good way to incorporate Saz into the plot. Like, is it doing anything for you?
And that's this little segue with that, because like Saz could be so annoying. Because I love Jane Lynch. I love her. And I loved her on Glee. But like Sue Sylvester was like, once she became big, like they just wouldn't stop. It was always there. And I don't know if she became annoying or anything, but like, you know, like it's almost, you don't want to like overextend Jane Lynch's talent.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to.
Like, because the non-fans are going to like, oh, she's just annoying. They keep on doing the same thing. But
and
like,
that's what has happened. Yeah. Which is a bummer.
Yeah, but I think they used her perfectly. She was hilarious. It was like, oh, I loved it.
I know. It was just enough.
Hilarious. And what did Charles say? He's like, you know, I think I could do this in a wheelchair. I can move myself in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Saz. What else does she do?
The part where Saz was like, and roll sound, camera, action. Listen, Jan, we have to talk. It was so good the way that she had to gear herself up with like a lights camera. Action.
I think I would watch a series with just Amy Ryan and Jane Lynch. I think there would be wonderful
Okay,
together.
so this was what I was also thinking. I'm like, yeah, if Jan had to end up with anybody else, let it be Saz.
Yeah.
I might be okay with this
I think
pairing as well.
that Jan would have a good competition because like Charles is really like under her. Like he falls for her where Saz might be just a little bit more a better competitor. Like she'll be able to take on. Yeah.
You actually might be right. They actually might be better matched. Saz could handle Jan.
Yeah.
Charles can't. With Charles, it's almost kind of an unfair battle. It's like out of balance. But with Saz, like she could maybe dominate Jan.
Yeah.
And, I kind of like this better, actually. You're right.
I could ship that.
Yeah, I could ship
Yeah.
it. I ship it. Fuck it. I'm
I ship
shipping it. Signed, sealed, delivered. Oh,
Yep.
and what you were saying about like, Charles like having a hard time leaving people. I really liked the way that this was incorporated into the plot. His father abandoned him, so he can't abandon people in their time of need. Just beautiful storytelling.
Yeah. I appreciated it. It was like they are really. It's not like a 30-minute sitcom where they're kind of like just loosely just throwing things in just for
No, they're
humor
really
purpose.
building a world here.
Yeah.
I know, I liked it a lot. They're being very
like it a
consistent.
lot. I had a couple notes. I just wanted to see where it was.
Oh, while you're looking for yours.
Go right ahead.
The moment where so I have a couple of like questions about crepes. So, okay, well, first of all, the hilarious moment when they're in the car talking to Charles and like, saying you got to break up with Jan. And meanwhile, behind them, we just see like silently, because we can't like hear it because they can't hear it. So the glitter bomb just goes off, and the comedic brilliance of that, the way that that's shot is just, it makes this show on another level. It's
Need
just
some Benny
out
Hill
of the,
music.
right? It's out of the ordinary. It's like
I love that.
unconventional way to show that. And it cracked me up every single time. And then seeing the glitter guy on the subway was so fucking scary.
Yes,
it's like Michael Myers in the daytime outside of like the school, in the movie Halloween. Why is it so scary seeing him in public?
Scary.
The
And
way that he moves
too.
slowly past her in that like he can't see his face. It is creepy every time. It freaks me out, man. It's very well done.
I agree with you. I thought the glitter looked really scary too. Like it looked demonic a little bit. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think I wrote it down. I'm like, why isn't anyone helping her? That guy is obviously a creep.
Well, sad to
People are
say,
shitty.
it's New York, and that's. Yeah, I have stories I could tell you about people.
I did write a note. I'm like, why wasn't she arrested? And then I'm like, oh yeah, Krebs's glitter guy. Sorry, spoiler alert. but
Why are you sorry? Spoiler. You're so funny.
One of the things, it was just going back when they were in the car when she leaves. What was it? Oliver said, "She's fine. This happens every third or fourth episode."
I know.
I'm like, I like when they make fun of themselves with that because I'm like, yeah, they do that a lot. Like, yeah, they give up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There were a couple of good lines in this one. Everything to do with Poppy and Cindy was really funny when she just treats her like total shit, and she's texts her, "I have to poop. Come in here and say I have a call." Or when she calls her like a dog. She's like, "Here, girl," and she's like, "It's an inside joke."
Oh my god.
And then she's like, she says something about dropping the hammer of justice, and she's like, "Poppy, get the stuff, and remember that line. I like the thing about the hammer."
I think it's just like Cinda is really easy to hate because like toxic work situations and horrible bosses, but it still doesn't like Poppy's a horrible person. I'm sorry. Even before she killed Bonnie. It's just terrible.
We'll talk about Poppy, how we feel about her at the end there. Yeah. Put a pin in that one.
We'll put a pin in Poppy. But
anything else for this episode?
No, I mean, I agree with you. Although I did love the Jan and Charles moment, I think mine with like, just again with Jan and Saz when he sends her to break up with her, it's like it gets pretty porny.
Doing
the anatomy of the pursuit. Oh my god.
The long joint, the butt joint, the crook. Then I'll continue.
So good. I hated. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead. I was just going to say, I was going to move on, but no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, there's one more thing. They had great music this season by Mavis Staple. They had the song "You're Not Alone" at the end there when they saw that video. It just chills. Like their way that they add music into this show is so good.
Very intentional.
It's been a long time since I've downloaded a soundtrack from anything, like a movie. Like they just don't make soundtracks the way that they don't make them like they used to anymore. You know, I sound like such an old lady when I say this, but I have the soundtrack for Only Murders in the Building, and I enjoy it a lot. Just every song is a banger. That I would never have thought to seek out myself. You know, I love that they're like, remember these songs. They're really good.
Yeah, I think I wrote notes like when they put Fiona Apple Criminal, I'm like, yes! It's like,
yes!
Right back to high school. Loved it.
I know,
loved it.
me too. Fiona.
Yeah, I can't stand Alice. I hated that so much when she got into her place and she saw the recreation. I'm like, oh no, gross.
Yeah,
I didn't like that. I don't think it
makes sense. Make Alice make sense for me. I can't make sense of this this girl. I don't get you, Alice.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like that. Yeah, but Oliver says, "What if I lose my son and my dips in a single day?" Was that what was Kara's marvelous moment?
We're getting there. Okay,
it had to do with dips, isn't it?
I think you're getting ahead of us. You're getting ahead. Okay,
Yes.
so episode 7, Flipping the Pieces. The director is Chris Tegg and written by Stephen Markley and Ben Philippe. And we see flashbacks throughout the whole episode of Mabel and her dad doing puzzles, and she has memories of him getting progressively sicker until he eventually died of stomach cancer. And Mabel then, in real time, in the future, in now, she wakes up in Theo's apartment and she doesn't remember how she got there. And he shows her the video of her, like viral video of her stabbing Glitter Guy, and she doesn't remember doing that. And Mabel really needs to stop carrying these knitting needles around town.
Yeah, she needs something. She needs something else.
Maybe some pepper spray. Get this girl some pepper spray.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, like go to get martial arts or something, some type of.
Well, she does. She goes to kickboxing twice a week. She says later, but okay. Anyway,
I missed that.
Yeah, when she's boxing with Krebs. So Theo gives Mabel the Coney Island security badge that Glitter Guy dropped, and they go to Coney Island together to find him because he has Mabel's bag with the matchbook, and that's like their only clue. Mabel and Theo then get a green ring as like a toy at Coney Island, and then they talk about their guilt and their pain that they share. And there's kind of a beautiful parallel going on here. Neither one of them knows if they are murderers or not. And then we see when we get Glitter Guy's bag, he has a photo of Charles and Lucy on him, and he also still has the matchbook. And then Theo drives Mabel back to the city, and Mabel she opens up more about her dad's death and how she blocked it out. And she finally flips over the pieces and remembers that she is not the one that stabbed Bunny, and she knows it for sure now. And then Mabel meets up with the guys at the Pickle Diner as Charles calls Lucy, who is at his house, and bam, blackout.
Blackout. I love this episode.
I love this episode.
Loved this
Love
episode.
it. 6 and 7 are probably my favorites.
Yeah, I love, and it had to do with Selena Gomez and James Caverly. I loved that part. I loved it so much. I thought, I even loved Mabel's frustration that she didn't know ASL. Like, I loved that. And the fact that he handed this card that explained like how the way he reads lips, how it works. I loved it. I thought they worked really well together. Like, that's the pairing she needs, is like, there you go. It doesn't have to be romantic.
Yeah.
That just felt like really authentic, and you felt for them. It expanded their story. I'm beyond sympathetic to both of them. But I really did love it. And what is it? Mark Consuelos? Is that who was there? No. What is her dad? He's oh my goodness.
Oh, I didn't write his name down.
That's Kelly Ripa's husband.
Get out.
Yeah, but he's an actor. He's on Riverdale.
Well, yeah, he's in the show.
Yeah. And what else? Yeah, but he was really good, and I'm like, when he came out,
Yeah.
and there, like, again, there was all these touches of yellow on young Mabel and everything.
You're right about that.
Yeah, I wrote everything. I'm like, she's wearing yellow a lot, and then I had to Google it because I'm like, it was so kind of blaring, but.
And when we first meet Mabel at the very first episode of the first season, she's got that yellow beats, right?
Mm-hmm. I think she has a yellow hat and red beats or something. I have to go back and look at it. But it just kind of, again, it shows, well, like we thought, like at first I thought maybe her parents were divorced or separated. And that it really what it is that he's got a terminal disease and he's dying. And there was something that she said, like they didn't share it with her because they were trying to protect her. And she does find out that he had stomach cancer. But like even when she went there and was so angry at her dad because he wasn't able to take her somewhere to take her trick-or-treating, like that's what it just did. Like if they were just honest with her, she probably wouldn't have had all that animosity towards her father. Like so confusing. But I understand, like, what would I do in that situation?
Well, there's more of this that happens later with Oliver and Will about when it's good to keep things from your children. So we'll get there. But I did realize in this episode how the PTSD and the trauma that they address with Mabel, she has a really big aversion to people not being truthful. And like, don't we all, But I feel like some people could easily forgive it more than others. And there are some people that if you are not truthful with them, they will not give you a second chance. Like you are done. And I think that that's kind of Mabel, because when Charles lies to her, she is like not okay with that.
Yeah,
Remember when
he
he gives her that Brazos line about his father, and it's not really, she thinks it's not really his real thoughts. It's just him reading lines from a script. She's like not okay with this. And I realized, like that's from her childhood. She was lied to by her father and by a bunch of the people who are supposed to be taking care of her, So.
And she never processed it. She probably never really went to therapy for it.
Yeah.
And it's affected her whole life.
I appreciated so much, just as someone who, speaking for myself, PTSD and like trauma in my childhood have made me block out a lot of things. I have a lot of gone parts of my whole life. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. And through therapy, I've been working through it, and having memories suddenly come to you is very like terrifying. It is, like you need some kind of like a home base, a stable like person you can reach out to, or different people, a therapist or family members, someone who you can go to, who can like just watch over you for a little bit while you're processing what just happened to you. And seeing Mabel like run to the guys in the diner after she has this like realization, it's a good realization for her. It's not
when she's smiling.
When she hugs them and like, and
I love that.
And Theo's watching through the glass and like and the sound cuts out. And we just go to Theo in his car, and he's getting a phone call from his dad. Oh, it just whacked me right in the heart, man, in the gut. I was like, I'm so happy for Mabel right now. And so much just happened with her, and she's processing it. And then just to see Theo lonely like that. Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful storytelling, though. Beautiful.
It is. And it's, I think I love that so much about season 2, is how they really are doing it. I don't know what they're going to do with season 3.
I know.
We'll have to see.
You know what? I just realized I missed an entire section of my recap because I put like a space in between, which I didn't do before. So I forgot to mention the part where Detective Williams comes to Charles and Oliver and questions them about how Mabel got into like the whole, stabbing someone on the train.
Detective Keith.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
And Oscar sings like a chorus line to the baby.
Oh God. And I wrote, damn, Divine, you have a set of pipes.
I know, I love that.
Yeah. Oh, so good. I love that. And I think it was just so sweet and so adorable. Martin Short doing the little kick line to get, because that is true. Gassy babies or gassy anybody do bicycles. Or do some kick line. You'll feel better.
Yeah, as a yoga teacher, you lay on your back and like splay out your feet, and it's called wind relieving pose. Like there's a Sanskrit word for it, but that's anyone you got gas, just do that. Do that. And and I forgot to say at the end they give us Detective Williams, they give her the knife, the murder weapon.
I also liked Coney Island. That this is what I think I thought about COVID, because I'm like, Coney Island was completely deserted. I'm like, in the daytime, I'm like, is this during COVID? But it made me think of Maisel.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we're back to Coney Island. There's a Wonder Wheel. And it's all completely empty, and that's sad. There's just a couple things that I appreciated, like when Theo said deaf people don't get to write a lot of movies, because Mabel was just noting like, oh, it seems like they know how to do that. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't know if there's a lot of people who are deaf that happen to be writers as well. I wonder if something interesting.
I know. Yeah, I actually did think about that too. I'm like, I wonder how true that is. It's probably too true.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines that Oliver said, I just noticed it, when he was saying, I know what perjury is. He's like, I know what perjury is. I did a production of 12 Angry Men, but with women, 12 Angry Women. Yeah, I know what perjury is. I don't. And this was extremely funny to me because I was in an off-Broadway production of 12 Angry Women. I was Juror 12. I was like, more reasons I'm Oliver.
Oh my goodness.
That was great.
So good.
12 Angry Women.
Yeah, I think the other thing is, and you mentioned this about the subway, how I don't know if it was the actor that played Krebs, but Glitter Guy was terrifying. He was really very scary nemesis, and that whole scene, even in the locker room, like really, really good.
Yeah, and you're taking the words out of my mouth. That suspense, like, why is this so creepy? In the locker room, it's more evident why it's creepy because she's all alone and like they're smashing, each locker and everything. But the way that suspense built up for me, like even on the subway with a bunch of people around in the daytime, like how you film something to be scary in a not scary environment really says a lot about your cinematography skills. And this show has got it going on.
Yeah. Because, I think of this show as a comedy.
Oh, yeah.
First and foremost. But, like, then you remember, oh, yeah, this is all about murder and
all of a sudden, all of a sudden it switches to Mabel talking about her memory loss and her trauma. Yeah. And it's all of a sudden, this is not a comedy. It's a real sentimental moment. Yeah. And it's awesome.
Definitely. And also there's a blackout, which is a callback to Son of Sam. So at least that Son of
Blackout.
Sam is like, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Really, really good.
Got anything else?
And I also put a little note that there was a surreal moment in this episode as well.
With the puzzle pieces. Thank you. You're so good. Yep. Yes, I was. It's in my notes too. I don't know why I missed it. Yeah, I liked that a whole lot. I wish they did more of it.
I do too. But then again, maybe we get too kind of like they're doing it again, like formula, like too much of a formula of the way they do it.
Well, I mean, I guess, but every time I feel like it's different, and it's like that bounce back slow motion thing was so cool.
Oh God, I just
think it's a hallmark of this show that I like to see.
I would love to see more of it.
I hope they do more of it in season 3.
Were they nominated for an Emmy this season? For season 2?
I can't remember. Yes, I have the awards written down.
I wonder which episode they put in. Because, I mean, I love the episode about Bunny, but I felt like this one was, like, I think this one might have been my favorite. But I can't remember.
So, I don't know if they were nominated for any. No, I don't think so. The Boy from 6B, but that was from season 1.
That was season 1.
I'll have to look more into it. I'll look at more awards before we talk about season 3. But I don't think that I know that the only actor that got nominated for an Emmy for season 2 was
Nathan Lane again.
No, it was he got nominated in season 1. It was Martin Short was the only actor who got an Emmy nomination.
I just don't know how they can do that. Like they're just, the 3 of them, they're so good.
I know.
And yes, Mark Consuelos is it plays Mabel's dad.
Right on. So, all right. So episode 8 is Hello Darkness. The Arconiacs. Oh, sorry. It's directed by Chris Teague and written by Madeline George. So we see the Arconiacs are at the Pickle Diner, and they're frustrated with the lack of momentum in the Omit B case. And then we see Marv, and he is loyal to Only Murders in the Building. Marv explains the 6th Avenue slasher theory that he has. He thinks that that's who killed Bunny, and he wants to like tell the gang, you know, and then they go to get Charles. They go to Charles's apartment to get Lucy. And Lucy sees a ski masked figure with a knife break into Charles' apartment, and she like runs and hides in the secret passage. And so the trio come over, they go in after her, and she tells them that she saw the killer in the passage the night that Bunny was killed, who sneezed. And then a different jumpsuited figure runs after them, and it's Marv. And he just wanted to help catch the killer. Yeah, for reasons. Howard, we see him take his therapist's advice, and he talks to his chorus boy crush, Jonathan, played by Jason Vesey. And he invites him in for candles, and they sing The Sound of Silence. And the whole building joins in, and we learn that Jonathan is allergic to cats. Then we see, since the Arconia elevator is broken, all the tenants are congregating in the lobby, and Nina demands Lester bring her package 14 floors up. And Nina is mean to Lester, but then they have like a heart-to-heart, and we learn some stuff about Lester having guilt for maybe letting the murderer into the building. And Nina then kind of grows a grinchy heart, and she agrees to promote him after the renovation instead of firing him. How nice. And then the lights come on, Krebs shows up, acts super creepy. His arm is sore. And Mabel sees he has glitter on him. Ooh. You know, I just had the line pop into my head that Oliver says, if there's one thing I know from my years of regional theater, and he said something like all night orgies or something, he's like, there's no getting rid of glitter. And I was like, true on both counts. It's like, I seriously, all of Oliver's lines could be my, like, I could say that about myself. My crazy, past dabblings with glitter. Let's say glitter. My glitter days. Well, my glitter days aren't over yet. Anyway, so what do we think of this whole Marv thing? For me, I'm just going to jump right to my hot takes of this episode because we're running low on time. I think it's funny that the Arconiacs have like a fan cast. They're doing a podcast about how much they love the podcast. But the whole Marv thing, this is what I mean with the writing this season not hitting plot-wise. It just didn't work. For me, the Marv insertion, the way that he wasn't enough a part of anything. They're pulling it really out of obscurity. The Arconiacs haven't been around enough. Maybe
they were
if
only
they had
in like 2 episodes or something. Like, yeah, they really weren't as much in this season.
It just felt really, really weirdly forced. Like, why are we forcing Marv into this position? And also, I didn't like that it was Marv because Marv kind of creeps me out. Like, they always play his stuff for laughs, but Marv is like deeply unsettling to me. Yeah, it borders in like a, they play his stuff for laughs that's kind of creepy. Like when he kisses when Mabel and Alice kiss, and he's just watching and just goes, nice. I'm just like, ew. Marv, ew.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, but it's also ew. So it's like, why are we focusing on him? He's ew.
Yeah, I agree. He said something like, you know, his daughter, I'm dead to my daughter, but does a dead guy like you on Facebook? It's like very creepy, like creepo.